Please introduce yourself.
My name is Marceline Dyer, and I'm a volunteer with Can't Stop Columbus.
Hi, I'm Warner Moore, and I'm a volunteer with Can't Stop Columbus.
My name is Mary Ellen Austin. I am a volunteer with Can't Stop Columbus.
Kevin Lloyd, and I am a volunteer with Can't Stop Columbus.
I'm Vincenzo Landino, and I'm a volunteer with Can't Stop Columbus.
I am Fariha Tayab, and I'm a volunteer with Can't Stop Columbus.
Well, I'm Ryan Sullivan. I'm a volunteer with Can't Stop Columbus.
My name is Dr. Chanel Jones, and I am with Come Together Columbus.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andy Tinyatana Boone, and I'm a volunteer here at Can't Stop Columbus.
Tell us a little bit about the projects that you lead or any other specific roles that you have within Can't Stop Columbus.
My most recent project just launched, and it was to create a website for the Westerville City Chamber to support their online arts festival.
The project I am leading is called Remembering Columbus. Our goal is to assist people with loved ones that have transitioned due to COVID or health issues that have led to their passing around the time of COVID. So how to assist them with funeral planning, also with grief and emotional health, since naturally all the boundaries and regulations have made all these processes harder, even the process of healing and grieving. And thirdly, to have a memorial.
I'm doing double duty, actually. So one is I'm an organizer with Can't Stop Columbus. In addition to that, I'm on the marketing team. So it gives me the ability to assist from a leadership standpoint as we're trying to figure out what we want to do is from a strategic standpoint to really show that you can't stop Columbus. And then on the marketing side is to begin to tell that story and bring it to life, not just internally, but externally, so that our entire community can see how they can, one, be involved, but then two, be a part of this movement to ensure that everybody understands that you, once again, cannot stop Columbus.
With the digital divide, we recognize early up front that everything from internet access and PCs, they were a problem that everyone who couldn't access internet or couldn't access education from home was having. So the digital divide became Keep Learning CBUS, and that's the main goal and the main mission for that is to connect families, overcome the hurdles that they're having, and ensure that they can keep learning as this distance learning problem was appearing.
Come Together Columbus is basically a loose collective of individuals and organizations who are just seeking to impact or address racial justice issues, community empowerment, and ultimately advocate for police reform.
How would you describe Can't Stop Columbus to someone?
The group in Columbus that is supporting our community day in and day out through technology and manpower.
In a hackathon style, startup, entrepreneurial-esque effort, we build projects that have a dramatic impact on the community. So volunteers of all different sorts of skill sets and experience levels are welcome, and bring your request for impact, bring your skill set, and we will help you to have the impact on our community that our community needs right now.
How did you hear about Can't Stop Columbus, and why did you get involved?
The way Can't Stop Columbus started was actually a story that was rooted online on Twitter. And Jordan had tweeted something out. Jordan Davis had sent out a tweet about wanting to see technology and the kind of hackathon community come together, or not technology, the hackathon community come together to figure out how they could use technology to solve some of these problems we were going to see that were coming up. And at the same time, I think I had sent out a tweet saying something similar, but not the hackathon piece, just like how can we as entrepreneurs, how can we help, with this pandemic or this, at the time we were just kind of guessing, what was going to happen. You could kind of see what was coming. And then I don't remember who made the connection. So I'm sorry to whoever actually tagged me in Jordan's original post. But that happened, and then it was like rapid fire. There was a bunch of others that jumped in, and I would love to help. This is what I can offer. And then by the next day, quite literally the next day, we had this Slack channel organized, and we were jumping right on hitting the ground running with what solutions are we coming up with? What are we going to offer? What's the structure look like? I mean, it happened that fast.
What attracted me to Can't Stop Columbus is the caliber of the people working in the organization. One of the things that is striking about Columbus, and maybe our competitive advantage, is our ability to organize. Our community, our technology community is world class and one of the best in the country. And that is exemplified with how quickly and how effectively Can't Stop Columbus came together to make an impact on the world during the pandemic.
Come Together Columbus is actually an arm through Can't Stop Columbus. And we were connected through Jordan Davis, who is an awesome organizer. She was actually on the initial call that we had for Come Together Columbus. And she said, hey, we can pop this in as a channel or project through Can't Stop C-Bus and lend, additional support, help, whatever you need just to move this project forward. And so from there, we created this channel in Can't Stop C-Bus, because we needed assistance with like social media, marketing, a logo, web development, coding, design, and all of that. So here's the thing, we put this request in this channel for Can't Stop C-Bus, and as soon as we put the request out, everybody was like, hey, I can help, let me, I can help with the marketing, I can help with the design, I can help with creating the website. And through that, we actually had the creation of a really cool website. And then we also partnered with other projects in Can't Stop C-Bus, like We Feed Columbus, because Come Together Columbus has put on a couple of protests. We organized a couple of them. And so we partnered with We Feed Columbus. We Feed Columbus then came to the protest, and they passed out food to some of the protesters. And so, we've been able to galvanize thousands of people, and then we've also been able to feed several people who may have been protesting for, God knows how many hours, several hours out of the day, through this partnership with Can't Stop C-Bus. So basically, it's been a big help in terms of the infrastructure, providing resources, a little bit of manpower, woman power behind a lot of that we are doing. And so we owe a lot of gratitude to just the volunteers and the network of Can't Stop C-Bus.
What have you gotten personally out of your experience volunteering with Can't Stop Columbus? What are some things that you've learned?
I personally have gotten from working with Can't Stop Columbus is a whole new network of people who I haven't worked with before. I really appreciate the mindset of the folks who work on Can't Stop Columbus, because they are collaborative, they're entrepreneurial, and understand, and very idealistic. Like I said, I'm an idealistic person. I want to see an idea come to completion, and I know that we've got some very creative and inventive people out there who are making things happen.
What I've personally benefited from and received from being part of Can't Stop Columbus is, another sense of community, and community coming together of people I've never met or interacted with, specifically in my project, that have all kind of banded together for a similar cause. So in that sense, the creation of community, the moving towards a common goal, and also general community at large. So, whether that's like networking, just to know other creatives, or understanding what other projects are going on so I can help market, and keeping up with different things. So in that sense, it's been like a new experience that I haven't kind of indulged in before, because it's a new crowd of people that I would maybe not have overlap with in the quote unquote real world.
Some of the things that I've gotten out of it so far is my growth, right? So one of the things that we happen to do is we get really comfortable, right? So this is helping me step out of my comfort zone while leveraging some of my experiences and my knowledge. At the same time, I'm learning a new team. I'm learning about new things that are happening, and it's helping me to grow as an individual. A lot of the relationships that are being established is helping me to expand my network, which is really awesome as well. So I'm really growing in a number of different ways from this involvement with Can't Stop Columbus.
What are some challenges that you personally or your project team have had to overcome?
Our project, we definitely have faced some big challenges. That primarily with absentee ballots, there's a legislative process that's defined in the Ohio ordinances. And so the biggest obstacle we've faced is that the different powers that be, the Secretary of State leans on the legislature and says, really, this is a problem that the legislature needs to change. And the county boards of elections lean on the Secretary of State. And so it's a fairly complicated matter, I would say, trying to navigate that hierarchy in government. And at this point, a lot of the absentee ballot process is being left squarely on the legislature. And so there are lots of legislators in our state House and state Senate who need to take action. And so we have to shift a little bit of our efforts to more of an advocacy effort, lobbying effort. I even had to contact the Columbus Chamber of Commerce. Someone there, a government affairs representative, connected me with the Secretary of State's office. So we've been trying to navigate these challenges and the relationships as best we can. But there definitely are still some big obstacles.
It's a lot more difficult in a volunteer organization to manage your own allocation of time, but also when you're leading projects, how to keep the project moving along with a bunch of volunteers. It's much different than I've ever had to deal with in the past. And it's both rewarding and frustrating all at the same time, but they're kind of like mini startups. Each of these projects are like mini startups. And that's something that I've also gotten out of Can't Stop Columbus is that kind of startup feel. You know, how do you take an idea or concept all the way from just something on the back of a paper napkin all the way to something that you can roll out and impact people's lives. So this is not only given me a new view of startups, I myself have taken the leap to joining an official for-profit startup due to my experience here at Can't Stop Columbus. And that's, it kind of helped demystify some of it, but also gave me a little bit of the strength to take that leap.
The challenges that we've needed to overcome as an organization in my group, it's really been about finding the line between helping organizations who truly couldn't have afforded this work and helping guide referrals for organizations that could to other companies that provide these services regularly. So the Worthington Farmers Market did not have this kind of work in their budget for this year, and they're unlikely to face a budget surplus after everything is said and done. And so that made that choice to do that work really easy. We also had to be really cognizant of the fact that there are people in Columbus who do this work regularly as an agency level. And so we wanted to make sure that we were helping in the best way possible without hurting our own community.
Where do you see Can't Stop Columbus in the future?
You know, I really see Can't Stop Columbus in the future being that core group of, you know, volunteers, businesses, civic organizations, leaders that will go and tackle the next problem, whatever the next pressing issue. And there's always pressing issues, right? Let's be real. There's lots of challenges that face any community, but especially, you know, larger communities where there's a lot of different voices. There's a different challenge that they'll tackle. And I don't know what challenges those are and what they will be, but I can see this group, you know, such an inspired, impassioned group. I can see them going on to, hey, this is cool. We've battled this. There's still a lot of work to do, right? Because COVID has opened up a lot of challenges. We've seen there's a lot of things that need work. So I see them continue to tackle those, and then, you know, finding whatever the next hump to battle is, that'll be where the Can't Stop Columbus group is at.
In the future, what I see us doing is really creating something that's foundational to the city of Columbus, right? And I see us really taking a look from a strategic standpoint at how we can continue to have an impact on major areas, right? So our whole thing is about making our community better and bringing the greatest minds together to basically fix whatever is broken or create solutions to opportunities that exist. As we know, we don't live in a perfect society. And I feel like the team that's coming together here are really invested in how we can make Columbus one of those cities that's the best in the entire world. So for me, I see us being very strategic, identifying key goals and objectives, and addressing major issues that's impacting our community. We also recognize that, obviously, in Columbus, like a lot of other places, there's a lot of disparities. And if you look at where Can't Stop Columbus came into play, it was to really fill a lot of those voids. I see us doing more of that, identifying where there's gaps and trying to close those gaps to help our community be better.
Other than your own project, what are some of your other favorite Can't Stop Columbus projects?
From a recreational therapist point of view, Curbside Concerts is my favorite project, just because as a rec therapist and with a lot of knowledge of music therapy and working with seniors and knowing about the effects of isolation on, their overall health, that project specifically is my favorite just due to knowing the underlying benefits of it.
Personally, the ballot initiative was something that was attractive to me. I like that we tried to tackle a challenging problem, make it so people can request a ballot electronically as opposed to having to mail a paper form.
If you knew someone who was on the fence about joining, what would you tell them to encourage them to become a volunteer with Can't Stop Columbus?
You jump in, come to some meetings, get involved in the Slack group. It is a great opportunity to meet more people who want to do good in our community. So I would say pick a project, get started on it, really identify what is the impact that you want to have, and start doing something today. Can't Stop Columbus is very much about doing more, talking less.
With 30 plus projects, I think it's really easy for somebody to find their foot and their grounding. So it's a space, like an inclusive space, which I think focuses on inclusivity in terms of somebody's experiential background or their niche. As you see, I'm a creative, and this was a platform initially created by a lot of people in the tech industry and business industry. So I think in that sense, it's inclusive. It's inclusive to people. I've seen people of different ages, backgrounds, projects that cater to the current moment with the uprising. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to not only network, if that's your interest, but build community. But I think those are secondary things, in my opinion, personally, to the fact of just really being able to engage at a level you want in a project you want to. And then obviously if the project isn't something that's present, then the ability to pitch a project. So in that sense, I think it's another level of inclusivity, that everybody's welcome to pitch an idea, to express their opinions, to give their feedback. So I think new ideas within a project or for a project itself are always welcome and healthy and accepted in the larger community.
If you're looking for a way to get involved in the middle of a pandemic where a lot of things feel hopeless or like you can't help, that's not true. There's so many projects happening with Can't Stop Columbus. I'd encourage them to come online, look at the website, see if something speaks to you, join the Slack channel. I think that a lot of people in the city have been wanting an organization like that. And now that it has arisen from this very difficult time, I think that moving forward, even after this pandemic is over, doesn't feel like it'll end, but it will end eventually. This provides a key way for people in the community to come together and actually work together in ways that they maybe wouldn't have before. Like I said, I'm meeting people that I wouldn't meet in my normal 9-to-5. And we're actually doing things for nonprofit and small organizations that they couldn't afford. And that's important because we're lifting up the city as a whole. And it's the old saying, right? Like a rising tide lifts all ships. There's no downside to making Columbus a better place.
Thank you so much to all of our amazing Can't Stop Columbus volunteers.